Okay? And if you're a Republican right now, you should feel really good in terms of the results in the Senate and in the House. That is a fact. You should feel really, really good. And even if Biden does take over, which that's how it appears, you should feel really, 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 really good about where everything stands, because it's not the end of the world. And there's checks and balances. You got a conservative Supreme Court, Republican Senate, Democratic House, potentially Democratic president. Great. Everything is going to be nice and checked, and they got to compromise, which is really what you want from these folks. It's really what you want from these folks. So let me go to Josh K.
So I wanted to chime in and actually ask a follow-up question on something that I think AJ was hitting on, which I've kind of been thinking on a similar wavelength, and it's based from 1 Timothy 1:7,
Yep.
Which says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline."
Come on.
And so my question, based on like what AJ was saying, is like how, and I'm curious for you or for everyone else in the chat, like how do we hold the church, like pejorative American church, accountable for the panic we've incited about the world instead of like a message of hope? So I think one of the things, so I did not vote for Trump. I went Biden. My wife is a public school teacher here. So I'm from Madison, so I'm in a swing state.
Whoa!
Yeah, big deal.
I'm just attracting all the Biden voters, man. We need more Trump. Yo, if you're a Trump voter in the chat, pull up, man. Let's get some more diversity in here. I feel like I just like all these folks congregated. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's all good. So with that, we both were kind of talking. My wife and I were talking about that, and I think like that's one of the things that I've been struggling with is specifically even people in my family who are like genuine God-fearing Christian believers who have responded to this whole cycle in just a way that like does not fill me or has, and as a fellow believer, like has not given me hope or encouragement. It's been like fear, the world is ending, everything's going to flip on its head, like doom and gloom. And so regardless of who comes out on top at the end of this, I'm curious where everyone feels like, how do we practically kind of like, I don't know, like lament, whatever for the church to like deal with the fact that like we have not been a source of hope through a lot of this. We've been a lot of anxiety at least in my opinion, my observation.
Well, but this is the dope part, Josh. This is the dope part is that this is an opportunity for people like you and people like me to step up and lead, to say, hey, I'm going to make really good, pragmatic, and patient arguments with people I disagree with, and I'm going to lead with love, even if they say I'm a baby killer and I don't care about the unborn and what all the nasty, toxic things people are going to say. So to me, it's a great way for folks to step up, regardless on what side of the aisle you're on. By the way, I feel like Sonship Music was very gracious, and even though we may disagree on cultural Marxism and some of the same kind of stuff, I feel like that is extremely. We need those kind of voices. We need just more reasonable. Hey man, like I'm not super stoked on Trump. Like, come on, but this is why I voted for him. I'm a veteran. I've dealt with socialized healthcare. I think it's trash. Here, right? That's what I feel like we need more of that, and we need to step up and lead. And I think that is great. Now, to me, again, listen, if people align with Trump policy wise, I'm not mad. If people, whatever, right? Just, I get more annoyed with misinformation. I get more annoyed with pandering. Both sides. What annoys me is when we keep going back to the whole abortion thing, and it's just like, fam, like I just pulled it up. Funding increased under Trump. Like they're not gonna overturn Roe v. Wade. It's not gonna happen. If you want to make that the sole argument, that's on you. But you're just deceived. Like you're just complete. In the same way, if you think that Biden and Kamala are actually gonna do anything for the issue of black people, right? It's just like you're just deceived. Like you just don't understand, right? Now, is one more friendlier towards that cause than the other? Sure, right? And we could talk about the merits of that. But when you're being pandered to, and even in this situation, Trump came with a platinum plan and sat and met with Ice Cubes and black leaders and all this kind of stuff. Biden wouldn't, right? I get more annoyed with the pandering and the finesse than people having legitimate political views. Hey, I'm a fiscal conservative, and even if that, like fiscal conservative, gosh, Trump ran the deficit up again, right? Like so that to me is inconsistent. Now, I'm more concerned with the Christians that sat here and prophesied and said that thou shalt saith the Lord. Trump, the Trump in Revelation is the Trump, right? And like all of those shenanigans, I'm more concerned about those people because I think those people, in my opinion, I think those people are toxic, and I think those people are confused, and I think those people are misled. And they're misleading others. And again, that is real. Like, I literally just want Biden to win so I can make a video and I can call all these prophetic voices to repentance, and we could just be done with it and we can learn from it. Because I think that is that's what bugged me out more. It's like, man, come on, bro. Like, listen, let's go back. Florida, 18% of black men voted for Trump in Florida. We cannot just keep dismissing him and saying he's a racist, and think that, like, because that's what the left does, right? The left literally thinks that if you just say racist, you just throw a little racism on something and it's like, ha, gotcha. You know what I'm saying? And on the right, they just think if you say communist or socialist or Marxist, then that's it. Just put a little Marxism on it. Biden's radical left Marxism, and it's like, we got you, right? And it's like, listen, stop it. These, like, Biden's not a Marxist and freaking Trump's not a racist, because you got droves turning out, black people, numbers going way up. He's running those numbers up. He's changing the face of that. So I think we got to stop with just the silliness of how we're approaching the argument. And as Christians, those of us that are Christians, it says that we're called to be peacemakers, right? Blessed are the peacemakers, right? We're called to be peacemakers. So for me, Josh, bro, this is a time to lead. Like, this is a time to step up. This is a time to love. This is a time to be kind. This is the time to, like, reflect all those things and really acknowledge that both of these parties, even though there's people in these parties that are sincere, both of these parties are making a bigger mess than they are, than they're trying to solve. Both of them are, right? However you look at it. And I think we got to re-examine it. And by the way, speaking of things, somebody brought this up earlier. By the way, Kanye out here getting 60,000 votes according to People Magazine and USA Today. 60,000 write-in votes. That's pretty impressive. And so this is where you're gonna have potentially more folks like Kanye, more folks like that are outside of the political spectrum, the Andrew Yangs, the Mavericks kind of popping in. And I think that's good. You know what I'm saying? I think that's good, and I think that's helpful, and I think I want to see more of that. But I'm with you, Josh. Like, I think it's toxic. But again, this is an opportunity, bro. This really is an opportunity. Whenever there's problems, there's people that could step up and can lead and can help solve problems. And that, to me, should empower us.
For sure. Yeah, and I totally agree, and I appreciate your clarification too of, like, I think specifically not like every Christian that I've talked to has been like, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart, but I think it has been kind of some of those bigger voices that people tend to listen to. I think as I'm thinking, so I also was an Andrew Yang guy, so it's funny, I'm sorry to be like another person in the dog pile of, like, Yang gang, but I think, like, what I'm hoping the church, like, does better, like, we as believers can exemplify is, like, I was trying to find if there was a quick quote of it, but I think C.S. Lewis talks about it in Mere Christianity, where it's like the importance of having a Christian imagination. And I feel like what's happened is we've, like, lost that. And so when we look at the complexity of the world and, like, issues and all this stuff, we're like, oh, but the Republican Party just ties a nice bow around this, and so that's solved. So as long as I just believe in this, it kind of covers everything.
Right.
Versus, like, digging in on, like, what does it actually mean to, like, follow Christ effectively in the year 2020 when things are, like, very wild and there's a lot of stuff that changes by the day.
Yeah.
So I totally agree.
I think it means more of what we're doing here. More of what we're doing here in real life. The fruit of the Spirit, patience, kindness. I mean, the verse that you opened with, right? Power, love, self-discipline. If I'm leading with power, love, and self-discipline, power meaning that I know my identity and I know that the banner over my life is one of power because of who I'm connected to, because of my God. Love, right? Love is sacrificial, love is kind, love is patient, and self-discipline. A lot of our issues, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, and this is not me on some, like, soy boys, and you liberal snowflakes. It's not, but a lot of our problems, if we're honest, a lot of our problems are solved with self-discipline. A lot of our money issues, a lot of our relational issues, a lot of our health issues, a lot of our business issues are really solved with self-discipline. So that verse, do not have a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. That's it, man. I think you're totally nailing it. So thank you, Josh.